The invitation arrived on thick cream cardstock with gold embossing. Catherine and James Chen request the pleasure of your company at a celebration honoring Ambassador Rafael Santos, Saturday, November 18, 7 p.m. The Metropolitan Club. My cousin Catherine's engagement party. She'd been planning it for months, constantly posting about the venue, the guest list, the important connections she and her fiancé James were cultivating. I texted her, "Congratulations. Looking forward to Saturday." Her response came 3 hours later. "Actually, we need to discuss your attendance." I called her immediately. "Sophie. Hi. So about the party." Catherine's voice had that careful tone she used when delivering bad news. "James and I have been reviewing the guest list very carefully. This isn't just an engagement party, it's a networking opportunity. We're honoring Ambassador Santos from the UN, very prestigious." Sounds wonderful. Right, so here's the thing. The guest list is extremely curated. Diplomats, international business leaders, people from James's consulting firm. Everyone attending has a certain professional standing. And you work for a nonprofit. In Africa. It's not exactly the image we're trying to project. I worked for Global Health Solutions, a humanitarian organization focused on disease prevention in sub-Saharan Africa. I'd spent 6 years in the field, coordinating medical supply chains, managing vaccination programs, working in conditions my family found incomprehensible. What Catherine didn't know, what none of my family knew, was that 3 months ago, I'd been appointed Deputy Director of the United Nations Health Security Initiative. The position was based in New York, reporting directly to the UN Secretary-General's office. My mandate included coordinating global pandemic preparedness across 193 member nations. I'd kept the appointment quiet during the transition period. The official announcement was scheduled for next week, but I'd already started working with UN leadership, including Ambassador Rafael Santos, who served as the primary representative for health security to the General Assembly. Ambassador Santos didn't just work with me. He reported to me. I was his direct supervisor in the UN hierarchy. "You're uninviting me because I work for a nonprofit," I said. "Not uninviting. Just, Sophie, be realistic. James's boss will be there. The managing director of his consulting firm. We can't have you talking about malaria prevention and rural clinics when everyone else is discussing international trade policy and diplomatic relations." "I see. I knew you'd understand. We'll do something just family after the wedding. But Saturday is for serious professionals only." She hung up before I could respond. I sat in my new office, 13th floor of the UN Secretariat building, overlooking the East River, and looked at my calendar. Saturday evening showed Ambassador Santos briefing Pandemic Preparedness Framework Review. The briefing was mandatory. Ambassador Santos had requested it specifically to discuss his upcoming presentation to the General Assembly. We'd scheduled it weeks ago. The party honoring Ambassador Santos was happening at the same time as his mandatory meeting with his supervisor. My cousin had no idea. I called my assistant at the UN. "Michael, can you confirm Saturday's briefing with Ambassador Santos?" "Already confirmed, Dr. Chen. The ambassador's office confirmed this morning. He'll meet you at your office at 6:30. "Perfect. And the official announcement of my appointment goes public Monday, correct?" "Yes. Full press release, website update, official UN documentation." I looked at the invitation on my desk. Catherine had put my name on it weeks ago, before deciding I wasn't prestigious enough. I drafted an email to Ambassador Santos, confirming our Saturday 6:30 p.m. briefing. Looking forward to reviewing the pandemic preparedness framework. His response came within minutes. Confirmed. This meeting is critical. I've cleared my entire evening. I smiled and deleted Catherine's invitation from my desk. Hold up. Saturday arrived. I spent the morning reviewing briefing materials, pandemic response protocols, resource allocation frameworks, coordination mechanisms between UN agencies and member states. At 6 o'clock I changed into a navy suit and headed to my office. Ambassador Santos arrived at 6:20, 10 minutes early, accompanied by 2 staff members. He was a distinguished man in his early 60s, career diplomat respected throughout the UN system. "Dr. Chen, thank you for making time this evening. I know it's a Saturday." "Of course, Ambassador. Your General Assembly presentation is priority. We settled into the conference room. For the next hour, we reviewed presentation materials, discussed political sensitivities around resource allocation, refined messaging about pandemic preparedness investments. At 7:15, my phone buzzed with a text from my aunt, Catherine's mother. Sophie, Catherine said you couldn't make the party. We're here at the Metropolitan Club with Ambassador Santos. Such a prestigious event. Wish you could see it. I glanced at Ambassador Santos, who sat across from me reviewing documents. Ambassador, quick question. Did you have any other commitments this evening? He looked up confused. No. This briefing was my only Saturday obligation. Why? My family is hosting a party at the Metropolitan Club. They mentioned your name as the guest of honor. His expression shifted to concern. I'm not attending any party tonight. I cleared my schedule specifically for this briefing. Who organized this event? My cousin Catherine Chin and her fiancé James. I've never heard of them. Dr. Chin, someone is using my name without authorization. That's a serious protocol violation. He pulled out his phone and called his chief of staff. The conversation was brief and sharp. My office confirms no events on my calendar except this briefing. Someone is falsely claiming I'm attending a private party. My phone buzzed again. Another text from my aunt. The ambassador just arrived. Catherine is so excited. I showed the text to Ambassador Santos. His face darkened. That's impossible. I'm sitting here with you. Either someone is impersonating me or your family is lying to their guests. He made another call, this time to UN security. This is Ambassador Santos. We have a potential impersonation situation. Someone at the Metropolitan Club is claiming to be me. I need security to investigate immediately. 20 minutes later, his phone rang. He answered, listened, then his expression became grim. I see. Yes, terminate it immediately. He hung up. Dr. Chin, there's no one impersonating me. Your family has been telling guests I would be attending and implying I endorsed the event. They used my name to attract attendees and enhance their social standing. Without your knowledge or permission. Correct. My office has contacted the Metropolitan Club. The club is quite upset. They allowed the event based partially on the representation that a UN ambassador would attend. Your family's access to the club has been revoked. My phone started ringing. Catherine. I declined the call. Another text from my aunt. Sophie, something terrible happened. The Metropolitan Club is shutting down the party. They're saying Catherine lied about the ambassador. Ambassador Santos was making more calls, each one clipped and professional. I caught phrases, unauthorized use of UN official's name, diplomatic protocol violation, recommend denying future access. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Catherine calling. My aunt. My uncle. James. Finally, I answered Catherine's call. Sophie. Everything is ruined. The club kicked us out. They're saying we fraudulently used an ambassador's name. James's boss left. Everyone left. You have to help us fix this. Fix what, Catherine? Tell them it was a misunderstanding. Tell them the ambassador got confused about his schedule. The ambassador is sitting in my office right now. He's been here since 6:30 for a mandatory briefing. Silence. What do you mean he's in your office? Ambassador Rafael Santos reports to me. I'm his supervisor at the UN. We had a critical briefing scheduled, which is why he was never attending your party. You're lying. You work for a nonprofit in Africa. I worked for Global Health Solutions. 3 months ago, I was appointed Deputy Director of the UN Health Security Initiative. Ambassador Santos is the primary representative for health security. He reports directly to me. More silence. That's impossible. It's documented fact. The official announcement goes public Monday. But the ambassador and I have been working together for 3 months. He cleared his entire Saturday for our briefing. The same evening you told everyone he'd be at your party. Revelation. Catherine, are you still there? You let us humiliate ourselves. You knew we were saying the ambassador would be there. You knew he reports to you. You uninvited me because I wasn't prestigious enough. You said I worked for a nonprofit and would embarrass you. I didn't let you do anything, you did it to yourselves. Ambassador Santos leaned forward. Miss Chin, I need to speak with your cousin. I put the phone on speaker. This is Ambassador Rafael Santos. To whom am I speaking? I'm Catherine Chin. Ambassador, there's been a terrible misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding. You used my name and position to promote a private event without my knowledge or consent. You told guests I would be attending and implying I endorsed this event. That's a violation of UN protocols and potentially actionable fraud. We didn't mean any harm. By lying about a UN official's attendance? Ms. Chin, my office is filing formal complaints with the Metropolitan Club. Your name and your fiancé's name are now in our system. You will not be granted access to any UN functions or facilities. But we didn't know Sophie worked for you. Dr. Chen's position is not public information yet. What is my business is the unauthorized use of my name and position. My chief of staff will be contacting you about the formal complaint process. He ended the call. My phone immediately rang again. My aunt. Sophie, what have you done? Catherine is hysterical. Everyone thinks we're frauds. I didn't do anything. Catherine used Ambassador Santos's name without permission. But you work with him. You could smooth this over. I'm not going to ask him to overlook a serious protocol violation because my cousin wanted to impress people. She didn't know you worked at the UN. She didn't know because she never asked about my career. None of you did. You assumed I was wasting my education doing charity work while Catherine and James were building real careers. You should have told us about the UN position. The appointment isn't public yet. And after being told I'm not prestigious enough for a family party, I didn't feel the need to share. This is so typical of you, Sophie. Always so superior. Catherine literally uninvited me because my career wasn't impressive enough for her guest list. She's devastated. This could affect James's career. And you're refusing to help your own family. Ambassador Santos is filing formal complaints because his name was used fraudulently. That's his decision, not mine. We'll never forgive you for this. I can live with that. I hung up. Ambassador Santos returned from the hallway. Dr. Chin, I apologize for the family conflict this has caused. Don't apologize. My family created this situation. We finished the briefing around 9 p.m. Ambassador Santos left satisfied with the presentation review. I sat alone in my office looking at the Manhattan skyline. My phone had 17 missed calls and 34 text messages. All from family, all furious or pleading. I turned off my phone and went home. Resolution. Monday morning, the UN released the official announcement of my appointment. The press release described my role as Deputy Director of Health Security Initiative, my mandate coordinating pandemic preparedness across member nations. By noon, the announcement had been picked up by international news outlets. By evening, my LinkedIn was flooded with congratulations. Not one message from my family. Tuesday, the Metropolitan Club's general manager called. Dr. Chin, I'm calling to apologize for the confusion at Saturday's event. We've reviewed the situation and understand you were not involved in the misrepresentation. We'd like to extend an invitation for you to apply for club membership. Thank you. I'll consider it. We've also permanently revoked access for Catherine Chin and James Morrison. Wednesday, Ambassador Santos presented to the General Assembly. His pandemic preparedness framework was approved unanimously. The Secretary General praised the work publicly, specifically mentioning my leadership. The video was shared across UN social media. My family couldn't have missed it. Thursday, I received an email from James Morrison. Dr. Chin, I hope we can discuss Saturday's events. My managing director has asked questions about my judgment. If you could provide a statement clarifying that the ambassador situation was a miscommunication, it would be appreciated. I deleted it. Friday, Catherine called. I answered. Sophie, please. James might lose his promotion because his boss thinks he's a liar. Can't you just tell people it was a misunderstanding? It wasn't a misunderstanding. You used Ambassador Santos's name without his permission to make your party seem important. That's fraud. We didn't know it would be such a big deal. You didn't care if it was a big deal. You cared about impressing people. I've apologized. What more do you want? I don't want anything, Catherine. You uninvited me because you were embarrassed by my career. You made your priorities clear. That was before I knew you worked at the UN. Exactly. My worth to you is based entirely on how prestigious my job sounds. Not on the actual work I do. You're being incredibly selfish. I'm being honest. You don't want me in your life, Catherine. You want the UN connection. I hung up. My uncle called next. Sophie, this has gotten out of hand. You're damaging your cousin's future over a simple party invitation. I didn't damage anything. Catherine damaged her own future by lying about having a UN ambassador attend her party. Family is supposed to support each other. Then where was that support when Catherine told me I wasn't good enough to attend her party? He had no answer. Over the following weeks, the fallout continued. James didn't lose his job, but his promotion was delayed. Catherine's social standing never recovered. The Metropolitan Club incident became a cautionary tale about social climbing. My parents called once, 3 weeks later. They'd been traveling and missed the initial drama. Sophie, we saw the news about your UN appointment. Congratulations. Thank you. Your aunt said there was trouble at Catherine's party? I explained simply, factually. My mother sighed. Catherine always did try too hard to impress people. I'm sorry she treated you that way. Are you sorry she treated me that way or sorry it backfired? Silence. Both, I suppose, my mother admitted. We're proud of you, Sophie. We should have said that more when you were doing humanitarian work. We didn't understand how significant it was. Most people don't understand until it comes with an impressive title. That's fair. We weren't very fair to you. It wasn't absolution, but it was honest. 6 months later, I was promoted to Director of Health Security Initiative. My work led to new pandemic preparedness protocols adopted by 70 nations. Catherine sent a wedding invitation. I was just a general guest. The invitation made no mention of diplomatic attendees. I sent a generous gift and declined to attend. My career continued. UN briefings, General Assembly presentations, coordination with health ministers worldwide. Important work that saved lives, regardless of whether it impressed people at parties. And I never forgot that my family had found me unworthy when they thought I was just a humanitarian worker. Some things you don't forget. You just move forward doing work that matters with people who value substance over status. That's enough.